With the sun shining on Cornwall, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson extended a warm welcome to more leaders on the second day of the G7 summit. The United Nations, Australia, South Korea and South Africa all represented at the meeting of minds. Inside, the new arrivals joined G7 leaders and, as expected, the COVID-19 pandemic dominated the agenda. With the Carbis Bay Declaration, it's agreed that the United Kingdom will establish a new centre to develop vaccines that will prevent the spread of zoonotic diseases from animals to humans. And then there's the topic of vaccinations. G7 has committed to donating 1 billion jabs to in-need countries. But aside from that charity, how are the G7 empowering other nations in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic? The presence of South African President Cyril Ramaphosa reignited calls for the sharing of patents that would allow countries, including South Africa, to manufacture vaccines for the world. The UK wants to bring 1 billion of the world's most vulnerable children into education over the next 5 years. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced a £430 million investment in global education. But the amount is dwarfed by the UK's £5 billion reduction in international aid. The UK is the only G7 country to have cut aid spending, and campaigners are calling for more to be done.
We need governments to be investing sufficiently in making that Build Back Better process gender equal. And that means investing in childcare. It means we're calling for an ask of about 2% of GDP in investing in unpaid care and really recognising that huge economic investment that women overwhelmingly make. And we're calling for women and girls to be at the decision-making tables.
Various protests were on display throughout the heart of Falmouth. Demonstrations on climate change, geopolitics and gender-based violence happened side by side on the streets, all of them demanding their plight be heard by the G7 leaders over in Carbis Bay, no matter the distance.
It's really important that as a medic and someone who's worked through the pandemic, our voices are heard, and my message really is that COVID-19 is completely and utterly linked to the climate and ecological emergency. They're not separate. And we really need to tackle the underlying root causes.
The US is on a charm offensive with the rest of the G7 nations, looking for a united front against China. Though there's yet to be a formal calling out against Beijing's labour practices, it's expected the group will unveil an infrastructure plan meant to compete with China's efforts in the developing world, including Africa. Meetings continue to go to plan as Joe Biden sat down with French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron, both of them expressing relief in like-minded geopolitics in the aftermath of the Trump presidency.
I think we can do a lot too. The United States, I've said before, we're back. The U.S. is back. We feel very strongly about the cohesion of NATO, and I, for one, think that the European Union is an incredibly strong and vibrant entity that has a lot to do with the ability of Western Europe to not only handle its economic issues, but provide the backbone and the support for NATO. And so we're very supportive, very supportive.
And I think it's great to have the US president part of the club and very willing to cooperate. And I think that what you demonstrate is that leadership is partnership, and we do appreciate, and I think we can deliver great things for that.
With that optimism, one may forget there's growing anticipation. This meeting of 7 of the world's richest countries will be valuable to the world. Expectations are high, and with 1 day to go, the pressure is on. Adefemi Akinsanya, Arise News, Cornwall in England.